It's
to
the
go.
man.
Can you see me?
I can see you, bro. Looking
All right.
good. What kind of cigar you got there?
Padron, a Padron.
Nice.
It's a 50th
Nice.
anniversary Padron. I'm a big cigar guy. I like it a lot. It helps me relax because I'm always go, go, go.
I'm the
Yeah.
same way. I smoke about 2 cigars a day.
Yeah, I try to keep it to one. And I still think sometimes one, I'm like, but it's okay. We good. We good.
Good. So you're coming to us from Miami, from Palm Beach, is that right?
Yeah, now we're north of Miami, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Nice.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
so for give us the rundown, like for people who aren't familiar with like, your background and where you got, where you are now. Obviously, you're doing a lot of things with the golf, with the performance, but kind of give us like a little bit of backstory, like, how it all kind of came to
Yeah,
fruition.
yeah. So I'm from an island in the South Pacific. It's called New Caledonia. It's a French colony, and I grew up there
Mm,
until I was 16 years old. Um, so I was always in athletics growing up, right? So my parents always pushed me in athletics. My dad was in the
mm,
military a little bit, so I was raised with a lot of discipline, and athletics was very important in my family, right? So I grew up there. I fell in love with golf at a young age, and coming from an island, it's a very small island, it's a very French small island. So I wanted to get out. I wanted to see the world. So my outlet and my way to get out of the country was through golf, through athletics. So I was good enough to move to the U.S. to play college golf on a scholarship, and so I did that for 4 years, graduated. My goal was to play on the PGA Tour. So I was able to do that a little bit, play a couple of years there, and still doing a lot of other sports, right? Even though I was a professional golfer, I was still training once, not as much as I do now, obviously, because golf was the main goal. But I was doing a bunch of other stuff as well. Always very disciplined with my nutrition, my sleep. I was always that way, right? So that turned into I stopped playing golf, then it turns into CrossFit, it turned into triathlon, owning a gym, and now I'm in the phase in my life where I am still training, but the main goal is not to win world championship anymore. I'm 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 focusing more on my businesses that I built in the last 2 3 years. Yeah, yeah,
mm. So right now, I mean, I've kind of got a bit of an understanding on your sort of training routine, but I mean, it's pretty motivating when I see, you going 3 times a day. Give us a
hmm
little bit of insight on like what your day looks like and how the training, give us the rundown on this.
yes. So training wise, again, I don't have a specific goal. Training wise, I have a few ideas. I have challenges that I want to do. Might want to do a high rocks. I might want to do a 50-mile run in the mountains in Colorado, a 100 miler. That's still in the back of my head. But so because I have all these experience in all different sports, I'm able to, in my head, I have an idea of what the perfect, if we can say perfect, but perfect athlete or human being at 42 years old, obviously. And so I have a routine where I wake up. Obviously, as you know, strength training is very important as you get old. So you got to stay strong. So I always prioritize my strength in the morning for an hour. Then right after that, I break for 30 minutes. Then I do some type of conditioning, which is interval training. It's either boxing, kickboxing. If I don't have my coaches, then I do some type of CrossFit workout, EMOM, MRAP with some kettlebell work, box jump, rotation work, etc. And then I go on with my day, make my phone calls for work, go to golf, play with some clients. And in the afternoon, I always come back and I do an hour of zone two training, aerobic to build always to have my foundation really tuned, you know? So yeah, so 3 sessions. One is lifting, that's a non-negotiable. One is on zone two in the afternoon, that's a non-negotiable. And in the middle, it's either boxing, kickboxing, CrossFit, just a little bit of we can call that different type of training, right? Different things. Yeah. So
Mm.
three a day, three a
Tell
day.
us, tell us a little bit about like, when you talk about zone two, how
So
would you describe zone two? Like, what does that mean to the average person?
yeah, sorry, you cut it out. So you say you're not familiar with zone two, right? So zone two, the
Yeah.
average person, they has a lot of benefits. So benefit for an athlete. So let's talk first athlete. So think of it as a pyramid, right? So an athlete it doesn't really matter what sport you do, but let's say anything, a power lifter, a CrossFitter, a biker, a triathlete. Zone 2 is your base, right? So it's your aerobic system. It's your aerobic system. And if you look at it as a pyramid, if you want to push the envelope and be able to really go deep in those intervals, when you go 100%, you have to have a massive base. If you don't have that base, then your pyramid, your peak doesn't going to be as high, right? So that's for professional athletes at the high level that push the limit, and the cardiovascular is up, right? And you're like really pushing. Now for a person, why zone 2 is important? Because zone 2 is the type of energy you use, the fuel you use when you're in zone 2 is mostly fat, right? So there's different energy system. There's the aerobic, there's anaerobic, the glycolytic, etc., etc. But aerobic system is mostly fats for fuel. So it's where your heart rate stays between 130, 131, 140. Everybody's a little bit different based on their max VO2 max, but it's a good way for people to burn fat. You don't have to go super hard, and it's a good way to build your heart, your lungs. You know, it's good for everyone. It's good for everyone. So important.
So right now, if somebody, like, I know, you say you're a performance coach, could somebody like an average Joe that wanted to work with you, could he reach out to you to work with you as a performance coach? Are you taking on any clients? Yeah.
Yes. So I'm pretty fortunate. I have a very big property where I live in Florida. I have 2 acres, and I have right behind me over there, I have a massive gym where you see all these videos. It's a 2,000 square foot gym for myself. And I train. I'm very picky because I don't do it full time. I used to own a gym. I have other businesses now, but I'm very picky with the clientele that I take on, right? Because I take it very personal. I want them to succeed. So do I train people online? Yes, I do. One-on-one training. I do not offer like basic stuff. It's like tailored nutrition, depending on your goals. If you want to be whatever sports you do, or if you're a person that works at a bank and you have goals, then if you're very serious, yes.
What's your big goals for 2026? What's that look like for you?
Oh, I have so many goals, right? So business-wise, I'm thinking this, we own a staffing business. I own a staffing business. So in the medical world. So I want to take this to obviously 8 figures, right? So it's a big business. So that's a big goal of ours. And that's why I'm switching from being a professional athlete for all these years, the last, I want to say 15 years of my life, being like all in athletics. That's all that mattered, was winning championship. And I'm taking that, let's say that was 100%. I'm taking 60% of that energy and I'm moving it to the business, and I'm able to do some pretty good stuff. And so I'm taking that energy and focusing on the business and building this empire. And for myself, fitness goal-wise is, I have non-negotiable. I always want to stay single-digit body fat. Why? Because it's important to look a certain way. It's your business card, right? It shows you have discipline. If you have discipline and the way you look, then in everything else you're going to do in life, you're going to have discipline, right? So it's very important. It's even important for my business to look a certain way. So fitness goal-wise is I want to stay sharp. Like if something happens, if somebody say, hey, Pierre, there's a competition in this, or this, I don't have to really train for it because I'm already ready, right? So I want to be ready in all disciplines, but always stay in shape, single-digit body fat. I have markers and benchmark when it comes to running, lifting weights. For example, my mile run has to be always sub 6 minutes. So I always work for that. My 5K always has to be under 20 minutes. So I work for that. My back squat always have to be above 400 pounds. My bench press has to be above 315, whatever it is. So I have those numbers that are benchmark, that non-negotiable, that it has to be there. Same with the business, same with the calls I'm making. So I have an Excel spreadsheet that, hey, I got to make sure this stays on track, right? So yeah, these are the goals.
What do you struggle with when it comes to your performance? Like, for me, for example, sometimes I have a hard time sleeping. I got so much going on that it's hard for me to kind of knock out. What do you find difficult when it comes to you're performing at a high level, but there must be something that you kind of, have have to push yourself? What is that?
It's a good question. I wouldn't say so much. Yeah, it could be performance in the category of performance, but it comes down to recovery and being able to wind down, right? So I'm always go, go, go. I'm so competitive. I always want to get things done fast. Not fast, right, but fast. And I want to get it done, right? So athletics, business, whatever. So my mind is always going, always thinking about something. And sometimes, yes, sleep. I sleep pretty well, but sometimes, the wheel turns at night. So
Mm,
that's why you probably saw it in my stories and on my page. For me, that works for me and it helps me relax is sauna, cold plunge, all these recovery protocols, right? That I do.
mm,
I was talking with one of my client actually. He's online. He's Pushkar, my chef Pushkar. He said, "You do it every day." I said, "Yeah, yeah, I do it every day because that's the reason why it helps me relax and calm down a little bit. If not, it's like I'm always up here, right? So
mm.
sleep.
You're a pretty motivational guy. Obviously, you got a lot going on, but is there somebody or something that you do? It could be, listening to something, reading something. What gets you going? Like when it's time to go and you need to be inspired, what do you do? What's your game plan?
I I don't have that. I do not. I have that question a lot. I don't get inspired. I was raised in a way that was so, how do I say it? Let's just say you don't raise kids that ways anymore, right? Because
Mm,
you go to jail if you raise a kid that way. So I was raised in a way on the island that was so strict, regimented, and my parents were very so a structure that it was embedded in my head, right? Is it a good thing, a bad thing? I think it's a good thing. It depends. Some people might have folded. I was able to raise
mm,
to what my parents gave me, but it comes down to education. In my opinion, education. Obviously, you can always read something, an article of a professional athlete, whoever it is, whatever you can get, you take, obviously, right, to improve your performance in whatever. But for me, I don't need these external things. I don't search for them because I don't need. I was so. It's not a trauma, but I was so. I was from a young age. I was always disciplined, structure. Like so, when people say you do 3 workout a day and this and that, I said, yeah, it's kind of a vacation because if you'd have talked to me when I was 14 years old and you looked at my schedule back then, you would have been like, yo, bro, you have a life. There was piano lessons, track and field, kickboxing, then school, then golf. And my friend didn't want to come to my house because my dad would have put them to work with me in landscaping. That's how
mm.
regimented I was, right? So so when you ask me what gives me inspiration, nothing. I mean, I read stuff sometimes. I say, "Oh, that's cool. Wow, that's motivating." But no, no, no. It's a I'm a programmed. I'm programmed in a way that it's very difficult to change. And then I kept that blueprint in my head pretty much.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Do
That
you
makes
have
sense.
somebody? No, that makes sense. Do you have somebody that call it like a hero, or call it somebody that you say, "Wow, that person has done it. They've reached it somewhere." Somebody that inspires you at all?
Yeah, my dad probably. Yeah, 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 for sure.
Mm,
From where he came from, and like my grandfather, they grew up. So I'm half Asian, half Indonesian. So my grandparents came by boat, right? There were boat people on the
mm,
island, and there were slaves in
mm,
coffee beans on the island,
mm,
slaves, right? So I'm the second generation, maybe third, and now I'm in the
mm,
U.S., pretty successful. So yeah, my dad probably. I mean, he grew up in a house made of dirt. I mean, it was dirt on the floor. So, and now we're talking 1950, 1960, 1950. So,
mm,
because he had to overcome so much, right?
mm,
So that's that.
mm. What's the hardest thing that you've ever done when it comes to your physical fitness? Something like Have you climbed some sort of mountain or been
Mm.
pushed to the absolute brink? Give us the time when you
Mm.
actually had to really dig into your
Dig deep.
mindset and push yourself.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I like that's a good question because I did so many three disciplines. So I took three disciplines at the highest level. So you can't go any higher. Maybe um, triathlon to the Olympics, but I was not a professional triathlete. I took it to the World Championship. Prior to that, the CrossFit to the World Championship, and golf, the PGA Tour. So they all have different element of pushing it to the next level. So golf was more mental, was really on the golf course when the pressure was on. It was not physical. You couldn't force yourself through making a putt. It was all mental. It was all really digging into visualization and seeing things before it happens, right? You had to really be positive. So that was golf helped me a lot with developing that part of the mind where visualization and positive thinking is huge, right? Because you can't, oh, I'm going to go harder on the bike. It doesn't work in golf. It's all mental. Then CrossFit, yes, I had a couple of workout at the World Championship where, I mean, you go and it's tunnel vision and it's very, very difficult. Your lack of oxygen, and then a couple of workout almost passed out for sure.
Mm.
And you have to dig deep into. Then I'm sure you're gonna ask me what do I think about in those situations when it comes to physical. Then I think a lot about where I came from in those moments, right? So I don't want to feel sorry for myself. I'm like, oh, this is so hard, blah blah blah. But then I always go back to where I came from, an island. You know, it's a privilege to be here on that floor of the World Championship and push, right, and suffer. It's a privilege. You came from an island. Don't forget where you come from. So rise up to the occasion.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah. So that, and then triathlon, sorry to cut you off. And then triathlon was a different type of pain because CrossFit is very short, CrossFit, it's very short time domain, 10, 12, 14, 15-minute workout. And then triathlon, I had to dig deep into the aerobic system where you're doing a race and it's 95 degrees in Tampa and you have 6 miles to go and you're a little depleted, you start to cramp, and now you have to dig deep and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep that pace or push and beat my time or podium or whatever it is. And then it's the ability to suffer. Triathlon was the ability to suffer. Golf, there's no suffering. CrossFit, there's some suffering, but it's going to be done fast, right? But triathlon was the ability to suffer, and I think that's a skill. And again, I go into the cookie jar, if you want to call it. I go deep down here, and I think about where I came from and whatever it is, right? You find things to motivate you, right?
Can you give us some insight for people out there? Because I know there's a lot of people out there who look up to you and they're inspired by you, but maybe they don't have the same drive as you right now. So maybe
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
people out there who have that, they're in that phase right now where they want something, they want to get out of it. How did you snap out of it?
Yes, there's a few moments I can think of for golf. So golf was my dream, right? So I left the island for golf, play on tour, and then so I played 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 12 the game was not as good, and unless you top 150 in the world, it's very difficult to make a good living. So there was a transition in my life there where I had to decide what I was going to do, right? And then I transitioned to I studied finance in school, so I transitioned as a financial advisor, etc. But the question and the answer is, I think sometimes you don't have to have the answer yet, right? So I'm a big believer that stuff, but sometimes there's not a blueprint for everything, right? There's not an answer to anything. So sometimes you just have to go with it and take action. And that might not be so at the time I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a financial advisor now working at Merrill Lynch for the rest of my life when I took action, right? But no, that was just maybe a bridge, or that was just a certain moment that lasted a year and a half. But what I'm saying is that sometimes don't be afraid to try something different and do what you need to do to get out of your, you know what I mean, the gutter. And then sometime you're going to meet people, you're going to network, and other doors going to open, and it's just life, right? It's got to flow. There's not an answer to everything. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
So right now my nutrition is fairly simple. I mean, simple, maybe not for most, but simple for me. I just follow exactly the same routine every day. So I eat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. Breakfast always early. I like to have a full stomach before I go to the gym that I use for fuel. My carbs are mostly around my training, post and pre and post, right? You want to know exactly what I eat every day, food
Yeah,
wise?
give us kind of like an overview on what that looks like. I'm sure there's people
Yeah,
out there who want
yeah.
to know what
So
that looks like.
I eat roughly 2,300 calories a day. I weigh my food. In the morning, it's oatmeal, blueberries, egg white, a cup of egg white, half a cup of oatmeal, a cup of blueberries, coffee. I'm a big fan of coffee.
Mm.
Then train. Post workout is orange juice with simple carbs with protein, 25 gram. Then midday, another protein shake, mostly egg white, a banana, some fats, healthy fats, peanut butter. And then lunch, that's when the carbs start to diminish. So chicken, 6 ounces, veggies of some sort, and maybe 5 ounces of sweet potatoes.
Mm.
Afternoon, 3 o'clock, some sort of protein again, 6 ounces of chicken or turkey. Try to stay away from red meat. I love red meat, but for me, for my body, the fat respond differently. People respond differently to fat. And then at night, more veggies and more chicken or turkey. So very lean. So 22,
Mm.
2,300 calories per day. I burn on
Mm.
average 28. So I try to stay in a 500 calorie deficit per day. Depending on training days, I'm so in tune with my body. And if I'm going to do harder intervals with boxing or whatever it is, or longer ride, I'm going to increase the carbs a little bit pre and
Mm.
post, so that I have
Mm.
the fuel, the energy, right, for the session. But that's about it, right? That's about it. It's
Mm.
very simple. And then if I'm
Mm.
trying to bulk, then based off that blueprint, I just increase the calories. But
Mm.
I'm happy where I'm at right now with my body composition. So I'm in a good spot right now. Yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
guilty pleasure? Like, what do you give into like once in a while? Do you have like, you ever having some ice cream?
Cigar. No,
Cigar.
cigars. Yes.
But
Food wise, you know, I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I was
mm.
thinking about it all day. But to tell you the truth, okay, my mom is French. She can cook, amazing, right? Crazy. And I
Mm.
love food. I love food. Everything that you do in life, there's a consequence, right? There's a consequence. And when it comes to nutrition, guilty pleasure, um, I know there's a consequence to that too. And at 42 years old, it's a slippery slope. Yes,
Mm.
I'm not fat, but what I'm saying is that I train so hard in the gym. Why would I eat a piece of cake or a burger or French fries when I know it's going to affect me for the next day session, etc., etc.?
Mm.
Now you're going to say perhaps, but oh, you got to live, you got to have fun and this and that. But my pleasure, I'm talking for myself, my pleasure is the ability to stay disciplined. I get very excited when I'm able to control my short-term pleasure. It makes sense when it comes to food,
Mm.
right? So, uh, yeah, so that's it. So, like for example, Thanksgiving is coming. I'm not looking forward. I'm not excited about the dinner. I'm gonna eat my 6 ounce of turkey and I'm gonna eat my veggies. I there's something that switched a long time ago in my brain where I see food as fuel. Now, if I go to dinner, yeah, I might have a steak on a Saturday night. There you go. My pleasure. Okay, I have a nice piece of ribeye, and that's it. But I'm very cautious. I don't gonna eat too much fat with carbohydrates. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Sorry. Let me move inside because my landscaping guy is here.
No
Let me move
worries.
inside. But yeah, so that's the answer to the question. Yeah, I don't have really um, guilty pleasure.
Okay. My other question is when you're going on vacation, let's say you're
Yep.
going somewhere, are you continuing his 3 workouts a day?
Good question. Very difficult sometimes to do that. It's very difficult to do that. So um, what do I do? I have a plan. I always have a plan. So on vacation, I wake up early and I always do my strength training for sure. And then I sneak in a some cardio for sure. So not 3 sessions, I would say 2. But if I'm with the family and my parents and whatnot, then if I'm on vacation, then obviously I want to be respectful to the people around me. So I might set up the alarm an hour earlier, and I'm going to wake up at 4:30 and get it done until everybody wakes up, right? And so wake up at 4:30. So yes, I have non-negotiables. And vacation, no vacation, it has to be done because
Mm,
it makes me happy.
mm.
That's it. That's that.
And how in situation with 3 workouts a day, are you able to find someone who can keep up with you?
I train alone. I'm very fortunate that with the businesses that I have, I just have to jump on calls and I can work from home on computers and et cetera, et cetera. But I train alone. Very difficult. One, I don't like negative people. So I cannot stand negative people. So uh, for instance, like if I have a client that comes and right away says, hey, I don't know how I feel today. Maybe I cut him off right away and I say, listen, you got to change your attitude right now because it starts in the mind, right? Uh, so I would love to train with somebody, but that person has to be very positive, has to keep up with me. I make an effort. Obviously, when you lift weights, you can change the weights and stuff. Can't slow me down, and 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 it's some sort of a, I meditate a little bit when I train. Right, I get in my zone. And I don't mind training alone, and I do all my training alone. So yeah, yes. So to answer your question, sorry, yes, I train alone, and I'm okay with it.
How is it with 3 workouts a day? Do you find it difficult to find a partner or stay in a relationship with 3 workouts a day? I know my girlfriend is, I'm doing 2 workouts a day and she finds it a lot.
Yeah, I think that I mean everybody's different, obviously, but you have to find a partner that one is okay. If I talk for myself, I would have to find a partner or that obviously is into fitness and understand how you function and what works for you. If the person doesn't let me train or is not aligned with my goals, then it's not going to work, right?
Mm,
Um, um, so if you're dating somebody in general and that person, let's say, doesn't work out and doesn't understand why you weigh your food or doesn't understand why fitness is so important to you, well, you have to explain that, hey, listen, that's you like me because I'm a happy person. I get shit done, whatever. Fitness, nutrition helps me be the best person I can be. So it's part of the package, right? So again, non-negotiable, right? So if I'm dating somebody or I'm with someone, it is what it is. It's part of sleeping. It's a I made fitness and nutrition a part of my of Pierre, right? So it is Pierre. It is what it is. There's no the good Pierre or whatever ain't gonna come without the gym and the nutrition. It's the package, right? It's the way it is.
mm.
Yeah,
What's your favorite book that you've ever read? Which book would you recommend?
yeah. I'm reading a book right now from I read it a couple of times. The the Five Rings from Miyamoto Musashi, right? The warrior from Japan, right? The strategist. That's a really good book
Mm.
about strategy. A book that I read not too long ago was what's it called? It was I forgot the name. I was working with my sports psychologist, and not so much a book. They made a book about it, but I watched the movie. Um, Obviously, you know Mozart, right? Mozart, the pianist. So in that movie, I forgot the name, but in that movie, pretty much it's Mozart was very talented and very free flowing, and they made a comparison of Mozart and another guy that was also very good at the piano, and but he couldn't let go of his ego and couldn't let go of trying so hard to show everyone that he was good at the piano. And then Mozart will come in and he would just start playing and having fun with it, right? So the idea of letting go of expectations. So that's why it was recommended by my sports psychologist, is because Sometimes it's very difficult in everything you do in business, in athletics, especially golf, or any sports. When you put so much time and effort into something and you want to be successful at it, sometimes you get into your own way, right? So you have to be able to, obviously, I didn't say don't put the work. You have to put in the work and do everything that's necessary, but you have to let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and by that, you have to enjoy what you do so that you can let go of the expectation and let the real you come out, right?
Do you look forward to going on vacation? Is that something, you're so
That's a,
disciplined, so regimented?
that's a good
I
question.
feel like,
It's
you
it
know,
stresses me out.
and
It stresses me out.
yeah,
It
I
stresses me
I
out a little bit. A
yeah.
little bit. It stresses. I had a good friend of mine that asked me, a friend that asked me not too long ago, what do I do when I'm on vacation? She said, she said, how do you do it when you're on the road? Something along those lines. And obviously, the more you travel, the more you find what works for you and stuff. But getting outside my routine, yeah, it's no doubt, Jason. It stresses me out a little bit as I got
Mhm.
older and not so much focus on winning a championship. I'm able to relax a bit more, if that makes sense. But
Mhm.
yeah, especially the food. When it comes to training, because right, you can train, but sometimes taking the way I train when I take a 2-3 day vacation, if I don't train, it's actually good for me, right? I actually properly recover. But the nutrition part of it, it's very difficult to find the right. You gotta look, but the right organic stuff. When let's say you go to Vegas and you stay at a nice hotel, it's very difficult to. You can pick the menu. You just got to be smart with it. So nutrition number one, sleep, and then if you cannot get your workout in, then it's at the end of the day, one day doesn't going to kill you, but nutrition very important. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it stresses me out a little bit. So tell me about your company, the supplement company. So it's based in Canada, but you live in Turkey full time now.
No, no, no. I'm actually in Turkey for the last 6 weeks. So I'm only in Vancouver nowadays for maybe 4 months of the year. The rest of the
Okay.
time I'm traveling to different parts of the world. I'm in LA for 4 months of the year. I'm in Bulgaria. I'm in, wherever the wind takes me, really. So
Yeah.
I mean, my home
Yeah.
base is Vancouver, but our
Okay.
company operates virtually and
Yeah.
we've got people all over the world, right? So we've been
Yeah.
around for 24 years now. I started when
Wow.
I was 21 years old. Me and my business partner, we're still, going strong. Things are good, and yeah, I'm just out here enjoying the weather. To be honest with you, it's beautiful out here. It's 25 degrees and sunny, right? Can't complain.
I love
So
it. I love it. And question for you. So, Nutrabolics, give me your top three supplements that you guys are proud of and really pushing. So I saw obviously the protein and the type of protein that you guys make is one of the best in the world, right? So tell me more about that, if you don't mind.
Well, let's just say that the protein that we make, our biggest problem is telling the factory that they're going to work weekends and getting in arguments saying, "Hey, no, you're going to work this Saturday and Sunday because I got customers complaining, right? Saying
I
we
love
got
it.
this."
I love it.
So the protein is like out of the
Yeah.
park, right? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, one of the biggest products that we've ever had is our pre-workout, which I sent you. You're going to try it, the Supernova Legacy. This is
Yes.
actually a product that we brought back that was a huge seller for us, and we're bringing it as the Legacy formula. It was originally Supernova, now it's Supernova Legacy, but
Yeah.
this formula is amazing. This is a great pre-workout. I think it's way ahead of its time.
Okay.
Another, like, I mean, we have quite a few products, so it's hard for me to kind of like break it down to
Yes.
three,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say that, one of the products that, I'm constantly, raving about myself, just to anybody that will listen pretty much is, I mean, I use our anabolic state like 4 times a day. Which is our BCA product. And, I use it because obviously I fast for
Yeah.
20 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm fasting, I drink a lot of anabolic state, right? I'm drinking the
Right. Right. Of
anabolic state.
course.
I want to
Yeah. Yeah.
get
To stay the
it
amino
helps me,
acids. Yeah.
yeah, it helps
Yeah.
me stay
Yeah. Yeah.
anabolic and it tastes great. And so, I mean, that's been a big staple for us. I mean, we obviously had that product for a long time, but my favorite flavor, like people ask me, oh, like, what's your favorite flavor? I say like grape. Like honestly, the grape is just unbelievable. Uh, I don't know, personally for me, I could drink that like all day. So that's a big one. Those would be my top three if I had to pick three that I use like every
Yep.
single
Yep.
day. Business over this, 24 years is just literally listening to the customers and really paying close attention to details, looking and seeing how excited people are. And if people aren't like, wow, this is amazing, then we just go back to the drawing board until I get that reaction that I want, right? And I think like
100%.
with our protein, it's like I send out the product, people try it and they just love it. Like they just I can't even I don't even know what to say. It's overwhelming. But I knew when we made this product that we were going into the most competitive category that there was. So we can't play around, We've taken
Yeah.
that approach over these long periods of time and it's worked out for us, thankfully. And, hopefully it continues. And, that's kind of the backstory.
Yeah, I'm excited to try what you sent me, and I'm sure we'll talk more on the side, and I have some question for you for sure. When for the listeners out there, it's very important to make sure what your goals are so that you can tailor your nutrition towards that, right? So Jason's way of doing is perfect for what Jason wants to do and the body composition and the way schedule and everything does, right? If I do Jason nutrition for myself with my pre-workout a day, 4 days I'm gonna be smashed, right? I won't have
Mm,
any energy, right? So
mm.
very very cool to hear a different path.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I mean, the cardio for me in the morning is I just do slow, like just walk.
Of course, yeah.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for coming on Perform. I really appreciate it, Pierre.
No, you're welcome. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it, man.
All right,
Let's
man.
stay in touch. All right,
For
bud.
sure. Have a great
Take
day.
care.
Thanks.
You too.